You are live. Ryan. Ryan, how are you, man? This is a first for the Cheers to Comics. This isn't necessarily a podcast. This is the Cheers to Comics live screen. I should probably make some graphics adjustments there. Yeah, welcome everybody. I'm gonna wait for people to pop in. Ryan, new guy. What do you like to be called? You know, I've known that you followed the show for a long time, and then you started creating content. So naturally, I started following you. We've up until like 47 seconds ago, we've never actually had a verbal conversation. So, yeah, my name's actually pronounced Brian, just so you know.
Brian.
Yeah, I've been saying it wrong this whole time.
Always the last to know.
Yeah. So, I mean, you're cool with new guy. We call you new guy. We call you Ryan. It's nothing offensive there. Right on.
No, yeah. I in college, whenever I went to college, I moved into an apartment with 3 other guys, and they had already been at the school for a year. So I moved in, and whenever I moved in, for the first couple of days, they couldn't remember my name. So when people would be there and stuff, and they needed me, you know, they would just yell out like "new guy," and I would come from the other room, and so. That's kind of what it is, and there's still people in my life that's the only name they really know me by, you know. So
it's funny. It's funny you say that because in 7th grade, I was also giving the nickname "new guy," but it was not a proud moment actually. So the stupid movie "The New Guy" came out, and I decided that I liked the way he wore his hair. And being a tall, skinny guy, wearing his hair the same way, I got called new guy. And I could, I could have shaved my head and tattooed a freaking falcon on my face, and they would have still called me new guy. So that name stuck all throughout 7th, 8th, I don't know, one of those grades. But yeah, so we have that in common.
There you go, yeah.
But mine wasn't spelled all cool like yours with the X.
Yeah,
and
well,
whatnot.
That's been years of just like kind of mentoring that name into something more useful than just being the new person in the apartment.
Oh man. Well, Ryan, like I said, you've been following the show a long time. I'm happy to bring you on board. We're gonna talk comics. You know, we're gonna talk. It's New Comic Book Day, so that means there's books. I mean, this is a few of the things that came home, and this is another pile that came home. And that's not the stuff that I bought. That's just all the singles. I mean, it was a huge speculative week as well. So I mean, it was.
Oh my god!
It was ridiculous.
I can think of at least 3 titles off the top of my head that have so many covers. It's crazy.
Oh, yeah, but when there's a speculative book for me, though, it's not very. I don't chase covers. Like I'm an A cover guy. You know, I don't chase retailer incentives. I don't know. It's I haven't bought into that yet. Yes, there's cool stuff for sure. I'm not denying that, and I'm not saying that there's no money to be made in the retailer market, but at the same time, it's I think it's more of a gamble than anything. And for as often as I roll the dice, I like my bets to be a little more surefire. So that's why I stick with the A covers. You know,
yeah, I'm the same way. I think like your A and B covers and your incentive variants might carry some weight. Your store variants, the only time those are going to really rise in price is if you find like some artist chasers, you know.
Right.
My friend Mark, he's into John Jane. So anytime he does an incentive somewhere, of course, he's going to go for that one, you know. But outside of that, I don't see retailer incentives having enough widespread interest in order to like grow in price as much as like your regular A and B and incentive variants.
Right. The thing they have going for them usually is the rarity. You know, like, oh, there's only 200 of them, and you know, you got people chasing that, and that's fine. That's fine. But you know, I mean, let's talk about the books that, the have some potential gain for the future that came out this week. I want to talk about the one that is probably the most mainstream that everybody's really talking about, and the book that I definitely went the heaviest on as well is Something is Killing the Children, number 16. This next House of Slaughter arc. There are 2 confirmed appearances in there. One of them's Cassie. One of them is the mentor of Erica. I am still behind on this, so I didn't get the chance to actually read it. But for the just the sake of knowing, I kind of flipped ahead and saw it and confirmed. Now this book, I think it had like 160,000 print run, and this was one of those books. I think it had like 45 incentive variants, or not incentive variants, but store exclusives. So yeah, I think the big winner on this is the 1 per store. If you can get the 1 per store on this one, I think it's going for like 115, 130 bucks. I think it's safe to say right around there. Checked that this morning, but yeah, I think that's the one, and the A cover, even the B cover is pretty badass. The Jenny Frisson, the Virgin variant. I mean, it's
homage.
Yeah, it's good. It's great. But it's not really gaining traction yet. But that doesn't mean that it's not. I mean, just there's 160,000 copies out there, plus. But keep in mind, I do believe they also count those exclusive variants in with those numbers. I believe so. And with all of those out there, you got to, subtract all that from the A covers. And in the end, once again, I believe that's the thing that people are really going to be after. So, I don't think long-term hold is the word, but we know that this thing's happening. That this series is happening. So as soon as all of this stuff pops off, then anybody holding on to this issue, I think you're going to do just fine. Even if it's 25, 30 bucks down the road, you bought it for $4 a piece, and that's if you didn't pre-order it. I think I got 30% off my Boom Books this week. So, I mean,
yeah. I think the only scenario I see it taking off any more than where it's at pretty much when the show launches is if we see the structure of the show and her origin story is going to be like a season 2 kind of thing, then I could see once people really get a taste for it after that first season and they're really like, ready for that second season, then maybe this issue 16 will take off. But for the most part, I kind of expect them as a show to kind of weave it all in a little bit smoother. And so I think this book will hit its peak probably about the same time as all the other Something is Killing the Children stuff.
Yeah, for sure. I could see this series doing for Netflix what like Stranger Things did, like that type of popularity, just bringing everybody in. And that's what
I've been saying since day one. Is like Stranger Things is kind of coming to a wrap. We know. So I think the exact audience that is watching that show would be perfect for how they should be doing this show as well. And so I think that would be a smart move on Netflix's part, is to go ahead and transition that audience instead of losing them,
Yep. Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. Like I said, Something is Killing the Children is the most obvious pickup this week for the sake of speculation. One that I is kind of under the radar. It's a cover appearance. It's Batman Superman number 18. Tur.io or Turio. I don't know how the hell you say it. How would you say that?
Tur.io.
You would say the .io, like you would say it like that?
Yeah, because it's a play on I don't know. There's a lot of websites that use that extension now, and that's generally how they're referred to. I think Slack is slack.io is their website.
Okay.
Salesforce, I think they use it. HubSpot. There's a couple different companies that use .io as their extension for their websites. And so, yeah, that's how I took it. I've been reading that series, actually. It's straight fire.
No,
this villain is really cool.
Oh, okay. See, all right, that's what I wanted to hear, because I read it, and we'll get more into the story here in a bit. But the sake of for the sake of gain on this, and it being a first cover appearance, it's just how cool is this guy? If they killed him off in the second issue it appears in his first cover appearance, probably not going to go very far. But it seems like there might be some legs to this. We'll get to that maybe more later on. But with that being said, I wouldn't sleep on this book. I'm not saying go buy the stack, but it might be something to it. Detective 1036, man. Lady Clayface. Not really taking off yet on eBay, but once again, it's DC books. It's rare that they take off fast. They're either going to take off immediately, or you're just going to have to wait. And it's I think this is one that we might have to wait. But I do see people in the speculative circles and groups and all of that stuff chattering about it. So when they're chattering, it's like Reddit in a sense. You boost it up and people start wanting it. Oh, people are talking about this. I want this. And yeah, so I don't know.
Yeah,
it could be something.
I don't know how long term of a play it's going to be, but that is where it's at. Like DC, Marvel, because they're so established and everything, when a new character is introduced, people start talking about it, but they're going to wait around and see what the longevity is in that character. Because I think we already have a Lady Clayface, and this is supposed to be like
the second Lady Clayface, and that's what I was going to ask you. How do you feel about the first appearance of the fourth something, the second something? Most of the time I feel, I don't know. Sometimes that works. Obviously, with Green Lantern, that's an example of, there could be as many Green Lanterns, and it's the 12th Green Lantern, I think, is what we're on right now, or some ridiculous shit like that.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I mean, it's the same thing like Swamp Thing. We have this new Avatar in Levi, and so you have to wonder, like, how effective is his first appearance going to be in Swamp Thing #1?
Right.
But that also just feels so much different from, like, I don't know, this might sound bad, but I think of Clayface as like a B or C tier villain in, a rogues gallery like Batman's, so it feels like the first appearance of a second version of the same character in something like that is a lot less effective than, Swamp Thing, where he's like the main character, or Green Lantern, where it's like the main character is changing,
Right. Right. Yeah. No. I think this is a toss-up for sure. It could go either way. It just kind of depends on how Mariko writes her. But the thing is the thing that we have going for us is that Mariko is writing her. So I don't know. I really think kind of a side note, the biggest speculative thing about this arc is Mr. Worth. I think this is after just 2 issues, I feel like he's kind of turning into the kingpin for DC. That's the vibe.
The whole time as I was reading this one, I kind of felt like he was very much in the vein of like an old school like Baron, what's his name? Oh man, it's slipping my name. Old New York, the rich guy, Rockefeller, like something like that.
Yeah, no, totally.
Like a ruthless businessman.
Yeah, no, I get that, but I also get kind of like, oddly enough, like a Craven vibe out of him too. I don't know if it's just like the big furry jacket he wears,
like primal in a way,
Yeah,
like whenever he's like
very
swinging, there's like spit and stuff,
Yeah.
He gets
I don't
down.
know.
Yeah,
I think he's the one that we should really be speculating on out of Tamaki's series so far. But with that being said,
I've been enjoying him.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Shit, there was really so many to potentially put in your pocket this week. Milestone returns. There's a bunch of firsts in that one. It's just a matter of time with that one. Hang on to it. They're the first they introduce. It's a very intriguing setup. So I'm interested. Mr. Miracle, the source of freedom. #1, we got a cameo of Never Free, the daughter of Scott and Big Barda. So cameos, they're good until the first appearance, and then 30 years later they're good again. So take that for what you will. But yeah, I don't know. Just know that issue 2 is going to be the one that you're gonna really want to play with on that one. Robin #2, Robin happened, and everybody was like, flatline. But I'm like, all right, and I'm all about that flatline. I mean, about 25 fucking copies of it. But there's other first appearances that are popping up in this. And then in issue #2, there's also first appearances. I didn't see them come up on the Key Collector app. I haven't seen anybody in the speculative groups talk about them. Maybe it's just too early. But I'm going to tell you right now, there's 3 very, very potentially awesome first appearances in this, with XXL, this badass little boxing 10-year-old.
Yeah, he was pretty cool. He was one of my favorites out of that lineup there.
Yeah, he's got my attention, man. Black
I like that
Swan.
he has a hype man that follows him around.
A whole hype team. A whole hype team. Yeah, man. Like, you're writing
That
something
was
like
so
that.
cool.
Yeah. No, they put some thought into this character, and that gives me hope for sure.
Hmm.
And then there was a Black Swan, like some ballerina. Did she cameo in the first one?
I don't
I don't.
believe so.
I don't
I
believe so
think
either.
Flatline was the only new character that we really saw in the first one.
Well, we did see oh shoot, what's her name? Not the one that kind of is wearing the Deathstroke mask.
Scavenger?
Was that her name? I don't know.
Or Respawn?
Respawn. Yeah. Yeah. Respawn. And then there was a Hawk as well.
Yeah.
This guy Hawk. So I mean, all first appearances. I don't know if Hawk's gonna go too far. They definitely make him seem pretty OP at first, though. I mean, I don't know.
That's a revival.
Is that
Yeah, it's
okay?
Connor Hawk. He was another Green Arrow or something at some point. I think he kind of has a Jason Todd sort of story to him.
Hmm.
Like he died in the line of battle or something. I don't know much about his history, but I'm pretty sure he's a revival. But like he's been gone forever. Most people don't even remember him. He's been gone that long. So it'll be
All right.
interesting because it seems like they're trying to put him over and kind of bring him back into the universe. Maybe like a tie between like the old guard and like this new generation of characters they're coming up with right now. So
Well, they gave him a hell of a reintroduction because he, I mean, off panel you don't see it, but he snapped that dude's neck like a Pez dispenser, man. Like he gave him like a smiley face in the wrong place. Like it was, whew, DC, man, gotta love it, gotta love it.
Well,
But with
then,
that
did you
being
read the
said,
backup stories that led up to Robin?
No,
There was it in Future? I don't think it was in Future State. I think it was like the first two like Detective and Batman, the first ones that came out in
oh
March.
yeah, no,
They had
yeah,
like some
totally,
little like Robin pre stuff is like little stories at the back. And
yeah,
at the end of
Detective
that last
1034,
one,
yeah,
okay, yeah.
yep.
And at the end of that one, you see Hawk, like they show him like standing there in his like awesome pose, and that's how it ends. And then it's like find out the rest in Robin #1.
Oh
So
shit! See, I was stuck on that TV screen of Flatline. I was like, I see you, bitch. I knew there was gonna be I knew there was a cameo
yeah,
coming. Oh man. Let's see. Miles Morales #26. More first appearances. I don't see popping up on the Key Collector app at all. They cameoed in Miles Morales 25 at the end of the and then we had what was it Salem, which is Miles backwards, but as it turns out in Arabic also means something. But so multiple meanings there. So Saladin Iman killing it on his cleverness there. But these other two, mysterious clone-like characters you just kind of see in the background. They get names and they get action panels throughout this whole book. So I mean, it's under the radar. I think there was just so much that not everything was listed. So I don't know. They'll sleep on Miles 26, man. I pre-ordered 3, because I understand patterns and everything. And at the end of 25, I was like, well, those are cameos, so I would imagine. And sometimes that doesn't work out, like in Nightwing when you see a cameo and then the next time you see him is the second cameo after you pre-ordered 8 of them. I don't know. I don't understand second cameos.
cameo.
Yeah, I don't
hate
know.
that they call it a cameo appearance because it's like, well,
He was
kind of
fully standing there. He said, "I am heartless." It's like, because I don't see your what is this 1932? I don't see your ankles down. You're not a full appearance. Like, what the fuck is this? A full cover appearance, you could see their eyeball, like this much. Like, first full cover appearance. Like, no, I don't. That could be anybody's eye, but unless I don't understand.
There's not even a definition for these things, is there?
No, it's based off of popularity.
Yeah,
I was gonna say whatever CGC gets to first as well. So I mean, there are creators out there like with Dylan, Brock, and Venom. Donnie Cates says no. The first appearance of Dylan Brock is #7 because he's right there, and then CGC's like, no, it's not. And he's like, well, but I made him. I put him there, and he's like, no, that doesn't count. So I don't understand. It's why does a secondhand company get to dictate I don't know. That's a whole nother conversation, a whole nother
Hmm.
can of worms. Another day, another Wednesday. Let's move this along. Black Widow #7 was kind of a sleeper book, first appearance of Apogee, but more than anything, I think this book actually raised the value in #6 by giving Lucy Nguyen superpowers. You know, Lucy Nguyen was a promising character that, you know, that raised the value in #6, went super under the radar. And yeah, #7, I think it's going to go far. But once people get through their piles this week, I don't think Black Widow is a priority read. So within the next couple of weeks, I see this book actually really gaining some steam. So get it cheap while you can. I could see this book going up to $15-20 by mid-June for sure. Shit, what else? Heroes Reborn Young Squadron. This is one, there's a bunch of first appearances in here from characters that we already know, taking on very similar heroic mantles. You know, it's kind of like a. Did you check it out at all? Not yet. So
no, I haven't read any of the Heroes Reborn stuff. So
okay, all right. Well, it's they really amalgamize these characters. They took Sam and Kamala. It's Kamala. Now I want to say Kamala because of fucking politics. And God damn it, ruins everything.
right.
And Miles, you know, and then all of a sudden they're Falcon, and then Girl Power, which is a version of Power Girl, and Nova becomes Kid Spectrum, which is it Kid Spectrum? Fuck, I don't know. Yeah, no, Kid Spectrum. And they're cool for sure, but I don't think these are the characters that are really going to live on. I think more than I don't know. They make you feel like they're, you know, at the end they're like, will there be more of these guys? They don't end it. You know, it's a one shot and in a contained event. But I don't know. I'm going to talk more about Heroes Reborn later. I'm going to get more into this. But with that being said, for the sake of speculation, hang tight on this one. I don't know if this is going to be one of the books to take off. We'll see. I don't know. I have to read more Heroes Reborn to know for sure. And you know what? I want to say the sleeper book of the week, the sleeper indie #1, is Blue Flame. Out of Vault. I think Vault may have just launched their superhero universe with this book. I could see this book catching on like Invincible. Like those are the type of vibes I got from this. I heard the speculative community saying I went big on this book. Let's boost it. The incentive variants seem to be doing okay for a release day. But with that being said, once this book gets read, I got a feeling, you know, it starts out pretty, I hate to use the word basic, but it ends in an amazing way that made me go, oh, now I'm definitely getting #2. So, yeah, don't sleep on Blue Flame. I think that's the sleeper of the week for sure.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, I heard Cantwell, I think on Comic Book Club Live, talk about it a bit, and it sounds interesting. I just haven't read any Vault stuff. I've never read any of Cantwell's work. And, you know, like I know Vault's reputation for like putting out these like really solid miniseries and stuff, but I've never read any of their work. So there wasn't a big pull for me, but I am kind of waiting around to hear what people think of it because it has a lot of potential from what I understand to like launch more of a universe, you know, which that's the interesting part. Because even if you don't care for this like main character, there's a whole universe behind him that could create better characters, you know, so I'm interested to see how people come out on this one.
Yeah. I don't know. I've got faith. Like I feel like while they're still cover price, and actually I'm already seeing like the live auctions and stuff on Facebook. They're on eBay. You might be able to get them for cover price, but people are willing to spend $7-8 on this book already. You know, and it's not just oh I saw it once type of thing. So I don't know. It gives me a lot of hope for sure. Were
there any variant covers on that one? I saw it at the store, but it was just like the A cover that I've seen everywhere.
Yeah, there was a few incentive variants.
Oh, okay.
There might have been a B cover, but I think there was like the 1 in 30 I think is the one that people are really drooling over. Do I have it pulled up here? I mean, I'm gonna pull this up because I want to know for sure myself.
Yeah, I've seen
when I
that A
look,
cover everywhere, but I never looked into any variants for it, so I don't know what else they look like.
yeah, when I looked this morning, I mean, my shop opens at 9 a.m. So even, in mountain time, opening at 9 a.m., it's open before everyone else. So I'm not really able to properly gauge the eBay
Yeah.
trends. But now it looks like the 1 in 30, I guess it's going for about $13. I think that's a fucking steal. I think picking up a 1 in 30 for $13 right now, because I'm pretty sure it got up to higher than that earlier.
Yeah, the break on that should be like 25 to $30. So
Yeah. I guess there's a 1 in 50 as well, but I don't know. It's hard to look up Blue Flame on eBay. I'm gonna have to refine my my filters there. But
yeah,
because I'm
I
getting
can imagine
all types of fucking shit.
pilot
But,
lights for your stove.
oh yeah, Matchbox cars. I don't know everything.
Yeah.
But with that being said, I think it's a good book to get now, because if they have a good first arc on this, boom, blown the hell up. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Talking covers though, I want to say that the cover of the week, it's just I don't want to say basic, but a B cover. Mike Del Mundo's X-Men number 20. This can I get the angle here? So clever, man. So clever. This Mystique.
Oh yeah.
The photocopies. Oh my god.
I don't remember if it was you or somebody else that had posted that on Twitter, but yeah, I was impressed with that. That's really cool.
Yeah, no, that's by far my cover of the week. That bitch is going on the wall behind me. Mike Del Mundo is he's so underrated. He's got an amazing style. And he's a smart artist as well. I mean that's pretty smart. I think this is actually going to be an iconic cover. I do. I think people are going to look back and wish they would have pre-ordered a shit ton of them. I got 3. Like, that's how I feel about it. I don't pre-order multiples of variants often. I mean, even with like the Spider-Man Gleason, I only got a couple, So I don't know. I got a good feeling about it. Another sleeper.
Yeah.
But man, can you think of anything else? Might have missed. I mean, I think I said every book that came out this week. I know some people are pissed about in comics is every week. Oh, there's like 50 books to speculate on, but I also I don't know. I mentioned
this was a loaded week. Like I said, there was so many big titles that came out this week. In particular, you have The Last Ronin out there, which is hard to gauge because there's so many covers for it.
That's another one. I forgot.
People chase some of those specific covers though really hard. So.
Yep.
That's one.
Well, actually, I think there were some low-key first appearances in there too. Casey's little posse at the end. Her grunts, like her. I got like a Bebop and Rocksteady kind of vibe out of a couple of them. Yeah,
so that's what I thought the first time it goes into the alley and you see that, and I was like, wait, did Bebop and Rocksteady get turned back into humans? And then, like, as it kind of plays out a little more, I was like, they're being pretty clever here.
One of the big dudes, he even gets a name. Like, he's not just grunt number 2, I forget what they call him. It was like Breaker or Bender or something. I don't know. It was something along those lines. But, I mean, getting a name in a Turtles book, you never know. People slept on Lita. I went hard. I was like, that little squirrel thing is going to be big. And, and sure, I don't know. I mean, Eastman knows what the fuck he's doing. He's not going to waste anybody's time, is my point, So we'll see. Nobody knows what the hell to expect. What Last Ronin means, it's I can't wait to find out though, man. With that being said, all these first appearances, Casey Marie, I think. That's
what I was gonna say. Like, there's a lot of characters being introduced for something that was really sold to us as like the end of the Turtle stuff. So it's interesting. It's almost like they're building a new timeline at the same time. They could go on past the Turtles.
Yeah. No, and that's and that's where Lita comes in with her time traveling stick having ass. You know, that's what she does. She pops through portals and says, "We have to protect the future." And I mean, the Last Ronin is the future. So man, I don't know. I'm loving what they're doing. I'm loving what they're doing. It's you know what? Let's just talk about the Last Ronin, huh? You want to talk about the Last Ronin? Let's talk about the books that came out this week, man. Like I read a big old thick stack. It's been a fun afternoon. That's for damn sure. Oh man, it says Facebook user. You gotta do the little thing. I think I know who this is, though. I think I have a feeling. Yeah, let's go. Indeed, this is the first live stream. I'm so fucking pumped, man. So let's talk about the Last Ronin. I'm assuming you got around to reading it, right? That was the first book on my pile this week. It was my priority read.
Yeah, it was pretty high up there. I won't say it's the first book I read, but yeah, it's really high up there. It's this is something that I feel like, without even realizing it, most of the people our age have probably been waiting their whole life for,
Yep.
It's a modern epic. It's insane what they're doing with this.
It is. It really is just a complete joy. When we do these rundowns, I want to be as the books just came out. They're still fresh off the press practically, so I don't want to spoil much. Some things it's going to be really hard to tiptoe around, but I want to talk about this book, man. I think the big one, and it's probably already been spoiled for you, but I mean, we all know that the people are dying, turtles are dying in this series. We know that. We get the fate of Casey Jones, which was, I had a feeling we were going to get the conclusion. Oh my God.
As soon as I saw this cover, I was like, I'm pretty sure I know what's about to go down.
Yeah,
you don't put Leo's katana and Casey's face mask on the front for nothing.
Yeah, and I mean they did the same type of tease with Raph, in the second issue and everything. I mean we could expect death, is what I'm saying, and once again, man, you know it's coming, but when the moment it happens, you're still like, no, where did that come from? It's. It's so well written. Like this, I think this is really the big thing to take out of this book. We don't need to go through all, 50 pages. We don't need to do a total rundown on this. Just know that more than anything, April and Mikey are they seem pretty well equipped for what's to come. I mean, it's that last panel with the fucking tanks and shit. April, oh man,
they're ready for war.
Yes. Yeah, man. I loved how they interweaved. Go ahead.
I really appreciate the way that this series is killing off all of our childhood heroes, but it's doing it with a sense of reverence. These are characters that they're taking their time with, and they're not just throwing them away after all these years. And then at the same time, you're getting a lot of rebirth. Like we were kind of talking about, it almost feels like they're building a secondary timeline to tell stories with different characters in that universe, And so, even though you're losing these characters, you're also kind of getting these rebirth moments where Casey Marie really comes into her own in this issue, and we see what she could be capable of down the road,
Incredibly capable, highly capable. Oh man. Yeah, no, I don't think this story was forced. I don't think this was a cash grab type of situation. Not that Eastman's hurting for money at all. But no, I think this is art. I do. This is what I want in comics, man. This is gold. 9.8.
The other thing I really like is that they have pretty much this team of all these creatives that have worked on Turtles over the years, And so you got Eastman and Laird. Obviously, they had a great idea, but it was a lot of the things that the animated series creators had to adapt it for children, and we got this new spin on Turtles, and then we got the new series, and we got the new comic books, and all of this stuff. We got the movies where they changed some things, and so to me, having all these different creators in here at the end and telling different sections of the story and different styles and stuff, really feels like the spirit of Turtles. It was a great idea from the start, but it's all the tweaking they've done over the years that have really turned it into something.
Mm.
And to have all those creators kind of collaborating on the end of it all really makes it feel true to the series itself.
Yeah, and you know that everybody in this is taking it so seriously. All these creators that are involved in it. I've followed Ben Bishop, and I mean that dude has turned me into a super fan just because of the passion he has for drawing these characters.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean that was even way before Last Ronin. Way before Last Ronin.
Oh yeah.
I mean I have his some of his turtle prints signed in the hallway leading down to Studio Cerebro. I mean, I've been a fan of the dude, but following on social media, just the love that he has for these turtle, and it shows in these goddamn panels. It's perfection. Yeah. It really is. This is the art that I want.
Yeah.
What else did you read this week, man?
Oh, well, not that I've read it, but Department of Truth, that
dude.
That one has a ton of variants as well for it.
Yeah.
I don't know how Tynan's like doing this, he's just carrying all kinds of weight, but I'm really excited for the story in it. I think I liked those like kind of filler issues a little more than a lot of other people did, but it's been really nice having Martin Simmons back on art the last like 2 issues, and I don't know, I enjoyed the abstract nature of it all and all the like twistiness of the story and stuff. So I know you're near Denver, so I'm sure all this like airport stuff is working for you.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, well, I think it was issue 2 you opened up, and the first thing you saw was Blucifer. That's the big demonic-looking horse outside of the DIA. And as a former Uber driver, driving back and forth to the airport, Blucifer and I mean, we know each other. So when I open up a comic, I'm like, oh, I know that mother, And then they talk about, the Denver airport conspiracies and all of that. I mean, yeah, it's real close to home for me. And this particular issue, once again, very, very Denver centered. And you're going to enjoy this for sure. I'm not going to spoil anything for you. Magic. They're debunking magic in this one. And
what? Oh, that sounds awesome.
Oh man. So I have to ask you, as a you're a smart person. I wouldn't have you on the show. You're an intelligent person. What the fuck are they trying to tell us with this series? Are they trying to explain? Is the Department of Truth trying to say that conspiracies are real or aren't real? I have a hard time understanding that because I'm just drooling at all of the art and just all of the I know that in Denver, yeah. What do you gather out of this, man?
I actually I don't think that it's saying like conspiracies are or are not true. I think it's like kind of like holding that mirror up to us to be like, hey, look how fickle your beliefs are, and like look how fickle as humans we are. Like we get this perspective on something, and like that's kind of what we go with, and then once you get more perspective or a different perspective, then you're like, oh wait, maybe this isn't true,
Okay, so
I think that's a lot of what it is.
Good. So it's doing its job then. By having me go back and forth going, what the fuck are they like? Are they trying to convince me this way or that way? Because 1 second there's a wall of ice and the Earth's not flat, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh no, that was all some bullshit. And then and this issue once again they're like, oh, we just like to make them believe that the Earth is round and all of that. So I'm like, hold on, what are you trying to get me to believe? But then I have to go back and remember, wait, who said that other thing? So I mean, it shows them playing from all these. It's a brilliant book. It really is. I think it's one that it was probably. I mean, it do you right to read it a couple of times. I have to say, like Cole Turner is not like my favorite main character in the universe. He's, I don't know, some issues I like him more than other issues, but at the end of the day, like he's not really that great of a driver of this story and stuff. But I do think that his story arc is kind of what we as people are supposed to be picking up on. Because, in the beginning, like, Ruby shows up and he's just like, all right, let's go do this, new job. And then, like, he gets in there and he's like, they're telling me all the truth and stuff, and all this other stuff is fake. And then now that we've been getting over here into these later issues, especially that last issue, like, taking a turn, like, wait a minute, is the Department of Truth good? Like, if people
have this ability to affect the world around them, how do we know that they're the good guys and they're not just trying to section off the truth, you know? And so I think that makes everything a little more interesting because, like I was saying, I think it's really about showing you how fickle we are in our beliefs. You know, we think we're gung-ho, but all it takes is a different perspective to make us change our minds. So
yeah, okay, no, I like that. I like that. It makes me feel better about how I'm perceiving this. You know, because there was a point in time I was like, fuck, am I stupid? But
I feel like that every time, man.
But no, okay, no. So they're doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing, and this is just more of it in this issue, man. It's no different. It's man. No,
yeah, it's kind of like the unreliable narrator sort of thing. Like, can you or can you not trust this character to be like navigating you through the world?
Yeah, Ken M of the Ocho Duro Parlay Hour podcast. I gotta give a shout out to them.
Awesome,
yeah,
dude.
they're doing a very solid job of keeping the readers guessing, and I think that's I think this is more of a made for TV type of thing. You know, they've already said it's going to be in development. I think it's going to work a lot better in I don't know, in moving form. You know, as much as I love the art throughout all of these, whether it's Martin Simmons or not, it's so ambiguous in so many senses, and it's so artistic. You got to take everything for.
Yeah, it's a very abstract sort of horror.
What's that? I don't know what that is. Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. I don't fucking live. Am I right?
Yeah. 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 Like, to me, I think whenever they're talking about an option on this, to me, like, the way I see this is honestly probably not even Fox anymore. I think Hulu is kind of like the go-to place for this kind of stuff now. But I could see like basically the old like Fox channel trying to pick up the concept of the Department of Truth and do more like an X-Files sort of thing. Maybe pull a lot of the horror out of it, but focus it more on the Department of Truth and give you a couple of agents to follow out into the field, do some like connected storytelling as well as some episodic stuff, and try to like recapture that audience from the X-Files that Fox carried along for so long.
Yeah, no, and I totally get an X-Files vibe out of this too, man. I do. This person, no, that's my OnlyFans page. You have to go to Only. You gotta drop a nickel in the bucket if you want us to anything below this.
It's on the Smolny Schmans.
Yeah, wrong show, buddy. So detective comic. Yeah, I don't know. Live, you know, it's new.
Yep.
Detective 1036, man. We talked about the Lady Clayface, but as far as the story in itself, like I said, Mr. Worth has my attention. You know, this is a mean motherfucker. When you have Mara Nakano, you know, pissing in his slacks, and I'm all about this. Obviously, this guy, he's bigger than we don't know. Apparently, Nakano knows what he's about. But I don't know, man. I think this guy's going places, and bringing Huntress into this is interesting. I don't know. What'd you take out of this issue?
Yeah. I mean, one, I thought it was pretty cool how the Huntress backup story kind of folded back over into Batman, you know? It was a little weird in this one when you get to the Huntress backup story, now that it's like connected back, you know? But we got that whole thing with the Mary Knox lady in the last one, and then for Huntress to show up here, like, I thought that was a really nice play on their part. I've been enjoying Detective mostly because he's doing detective work. Like, man, that's nice to see out of the greatest detective, you know?
Yeah. No, I mean,
as far as what's his name, Mr. Worth, like, I really like him because, like we were talking earlier, he's kind of like a Kingpin Rockefeller type, and I think that can be a double interesting play because in this issue we also kind of got this turn of Bruce Wayne's public perception, and we know he's lost his money. So to have to go up against a guy that is known for being a ruthless businessman that has lots of money, I think that would be a good play for the story in the world. You know, now that Bruce Wayne is poor and now the rich are kind of taking things back, and it's not a good guy that's rich that's doing the right things. it's a bad guy that does it through nefarious means, you know. So I think it's a nice way to finally turn Gotham back upside down a little bit more.
Yeah, and I think it might be a cool way to bring in oh shit. Who has all their money now? God damn it. Lucius. Bring
Oh yeah.
Lucius back into the fold, you know, fight money with money. You know, I don't know. I'd like to see you know, maybe some next Batman show up in and Detective at some point in time via Mr. Worth. I don't know. It doesn't have to be this arc, but I think it's he's a potentially good catalyst for a really good future story arc. I don't know. I think the dude has potential, and I think Mariko Tamaki. By the way, I think she's the first female to write an ongoing Batman title. So
Nice.
hell yeah on that. And dude, we get our Power Rangers bro on this, man. We get Dan Mora drawing Batman, and all of life is good on Detective Comics, dude.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying Detective right now.
Have you been reading Beta Ray Bill at all?
Yes. I haven't read this week's issue, but I read the first two. So
I'm without spoiling it, I'm gonna tell you this: Scuttlebutt is here to stay.
Yes.
Yeah,
that was so cool at the end.
I'm telling you, you want to talk about a sleeper key issue? Pick up Beta Ray Bill #2, and then pick up the second print because you got the first cover appearance of Scuttlebutt, which I need to find that second print, and I might have just screwed myself because I didn't look for it after I announced it.
That's the sideways one, right?
Yeah.
With
yeah, man.
Scuttlebutt up there, and then Bill down in the corner. Oh man, that cover is so nice.
Yeah, man. Scuttlebutt is capable of some amazing things, and there's you realize Bill's emotional connection, and I would not be surprised if Scuttlebutt was referenced in the Thor: Love and Thunder movie, and when that happens, book blows the fuck up. Man, I don't want to give anything away, but there's also she does something really, really cool that also is a key thing that happens, you know. Without really giving anything away, a weapon is produced.
Oh, okay.
Beta Ray Bill has a new weapon, and it's not the weapon that he was seeking out. It's here's this in the meantime.
Yeah.
But and you don't see much of it. Once again, you know, but hang on, we'll see what happens in that next issue. And when Daniel Warren Johnson fucking Jesus Christ.
Did we get like some metal moments out of this? Like, is there like some good action in it?
Yeah, this whole book is metal, dude. Like, it's just explosions and
I mean, I love the whole thing, but that is like in the first one we got that little skirmish with Fin Fang Foom. And then the second issue, it was all like pretty much like drama elements, you know? And so I was like, I'm ready for something to come unchained. Like, I want to see Beta Ray Bill like really break free for a moment.
Like, that's all just like explosions and action and
nice.
Shit. And,
yes.
Yeah. No,
that's the one thing I've been kind of missing since the first issue is like, I want Beta Ray Bill to just like destroy some stuff, you know? And so I've been waiting.
If you're a Scourge fan at all, like Scourge is the dude creating all of the explosions in this. Like he's just balls to the wall. Like I mean, he's the man. He's the fucking man in this. I love what Daniel Warren Johnson is doing with this series, man. I know I don't know why this series is undervalued. It's Beta Ray Bill, you know. I mean, everybody loves Beta Ray Bill. Mm-hmm. He's the C-list character that everybody knows, you know. And he gets an ongoing series. He gets Daniel Warren Johnson doing the series, and fucking people aren't talking about Scuttlebutt. You know, it's
I mean, I have some theories on a lot of this stuff here, because you know, Venom came along. Yeah, I was reading that comment. Like that would be great too.
I could see that happening, Ken, for sure. I could totally see that happen. Scuttlebutt and Peter Quill's ship meeting.
3.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I could see that. Jesus, mind blown.
But So like Thor, right? Everybody's been on Venom and Null and King in Black and all that, but the only Marvel book I've really been reading is Thor. And so I've been on Thor since like the first issue, you know, and there's definitely been some signs in that series of things that got kind of mixed up due to the pandemic and the pencils down and all of that. Even as far as like Beta Ray Bill, like in issue 2 in the last one, there was some stuff that would have. Oh, whenever they go to see what's his name, the old man, Odin, right? He appears in Thor also. Mm-hmm. But if the appearances had been flipped, it would have made a little more sense, because it would have made a little more sense that somebody knew where Odin was at that point, you know? So there's some stuff there that makes me feel a little weird about what happened with all the shutdown and stuff. There was also the way that the Black Winter at the end of issue 6 just like goes away. And then like they didn't tie any of that stuff into King in Black. It feels like it was supposed to tie in a little bit, but just didn't, because the publication of that and King in Black got out of whack because of pencils down and stuff. So I think there's still like some rippling effects there. I know Fin Fang Foom was just supposed to be the regular version, but because of how timelines lined up, it wouldn't make sense for him not to have the null swirl, because that was still going on and stuff. So
yeah, but unfortunately, for whatever reason, you know, I mean, this came out after the event, like issue 5 of King in Black, or like right around the end of the event. I think it was the last issue of the event was the first issue of. I don't know. It was something like
that.
It's
something like. But remember, the last one also got delayed like a month or something of King in Black. Yep. So I think there's like some minor crisscrossing stuff going on there. But honestly, my biggest suspicion is that we know that the Black Winter is not gone. Like Donny Cates has confirmed it, but I could have told you just by reading the books. There ain't no way they're just going to let him go away like that. Mm-hmm. So honestly, my suspicion is because Daniel Warren Johnson's Beta Ray Bill is in continuity with Thor. So I kind of suspect what they're doing is building toward like maybe like a mini event toward the end of the year that's going to be more Thor focused. Maybe Black Winter comes back during winter. And about that time, the Beta Ray Bill series will be coming back into continuity with Thor, because we know Beta Ray Bill doesn't feel powerful enough. So he's on a mission to like kind of find himself and come into his own. So if he shows up in November in Thor again after this big long adventure with Daniel Warren Johnson, and he comes back, shows up all powerful and stuff, Thor by that time hopefully will have sorted through some of his own issues and he'll be kind of powered up. And then the Black Winter shows up. What better brother in arms to help you fight like your greatest fear than Beta Ray Bill, you know? So yeah, especially I kind of could see like a mini event coming out of that.
Yeah, no, this isn't for nothing, for sure. For people to be sleeping on this series, I think it's a mistake. I think it's one that people they're going to be. I think it's going to be revisited as one of those mini series, like I don't know, like Infinity Gauntlet. You know, it's going to be. I gotta have that block in my collection. I mean, it's fucking Daniel Warren Johnson.
Exactly. Yeah, I was gonna say it's Daniel Warren Johnson. Like, it's going to be so like. For all the things that, you know, you could complain about Donny Cates about, like the dude, he's pretty metal in his delivery, you know, like you get some good like metal moments out of him.
See, I don't complain about Donny Cates. Like I'm fine with Donny Cates. I am, you know, sure. He does things that, you know, may or may not be questionable, but at the same time, I've never hated anything he's done. You know, I may have been let down, but never hated, you know, because I may have just high expectations.
Soft, but he takes you on a good, like, human journey.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm with it. More Marvel this week. Miles Morales, we talked about it a little bit, with the speculation, but, you know, this whole clone saga, I know people cringed when they're like, ew, clones, but, I think they're doing a fine job with this, man. I think they're setting up something cool. I don't think this is a big giant event. You know, it's not crossing over. You know, it's self-contained. You know, I think I like the way they're doing. I like how they're bringing Peter Parker and he'd be like, "Hey, dude, I know all about these clones. Like, you need some help." And he just shows up anyways, like, "Fuck these clones," and then yeah. I don't know. And the clones that they're bringing in, you know, first off, Ben Reilly, like people are gonna hate me when I say that's my Spider-Man. Like I think Ben Reilly's a really cool Spider-Man. I don't want to say he's my Spider-Man, but I'm a big fan of Ben Reilly. So I don't know what this Salem character is going to turn out to be. He seems like a cocksucker. I'm not going to lie, but these other these other two, wow, shit, what are their names? They kind of had cool names. It was fuck, what was it? I got it in my notes here somewhere. You son of a bitch. Oh, Mind Spinner and Shift. Mind Spinner. This is a cool fucking name. And Shift, I don't know. I kind of like a symbiotic type of vibe, but it's not a symbiote. He's like a big pile of goo that can't really articulate, but very capable. He's like the muscle. Yeah, I don't know. These guys made it through this issue, so hopefully they make it through the Clone Saga. Right now they're at a point where like, oh shit, you took the shit that's gonna kill us. Now we're gonna kill you. So maybe they all die. I don't know. But it's heavy stuff, man, and I like it. I think if anybody isn't reading this because they have a bad taste in their mouth from the fucking 90s still, then I don't, you're making a mistake. Give it a shot. I don't know.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about exactly this today. I was like driving around just thinking to myself, and I was like, it's interesting because something like the Clone Saga, it's you either loved it or you hate it, and I feel like the second go around of this, with all the hindsight, like they're obviously going to get the new Clone Saga thing right because they see how it went wrong, And so typically you do get like a better second shot at things, but also the second shots don't tend to like stand the test of time nearly as well a lot of times because nobody gives it a shot because they already didn't like it because of what it was, So I'm really interested to see how strong this one wraps up and what the longevity is in it because I mean, I honestly, having read none of it, I would kind of assume it's going to be better than the original Clone Saga, but it's not going to have the same meaning to the same people, So it'll be interesting.
Yeah, well, I mean, from the couple issues that it's popped off so far, I mean, I'm not dropping, and I'm somebody that actually wasn't really reading Miles. I've always collected Miles because that's what you do. But I was just kind of in and out. I'll pop in for an arc here and there, but it's been a while to be honest. But with this, I was like, yeah, I want to see this. I got a good feeling about it. I want when something is that hated upon. I don't know. I'm just kind of magnetized towards it. I want to know because nobody else is going to know, obviously. So maybe I could give it the good name that it possibly deserves. And right now, I think that the name that I think the praise that I'm giving it is well deserved. So, let's see. Was there any other Marvel this week? Yeah. Oh, Heroes Reborn, buddy. I know you reached out and you kind of wanted to talk about Heroes Reborn.
Well, I wanted to hear about it, yeah, because I haven't heard too many people really talking too much about it, and what I do hear seems to be very divided. It's all either love or hate.
I think this is Heroes Reborn is proof that Jason Aaron is one of the greatest storytellers of our time. I will go ahead and say that this series would not be nearly as enjoyable as it is for me if I hadn't read most of Aaron's last 42 issues of Avengers. Just like how Jason Aaron built up his Thor, his Thor over all these years. Heroes Reborn is his Avengers. And I don't want to say it's a swan song. I think this is just the end of the first act. I believe that these characters that he's introducing, like, oh, it's an alternate reality. If you're reading the story, you realize that there are characters, well, at least one character, Blade, from this reality that is going through and trying to be like, that shit's fucked up. I got to fix this. It's very, very different, obviously. Miles Morales being Falcon. There's no Spider-Man. There are no Avengers. The Squadron Supreme are the characters. Phil Coulson is the president of the United States. In Avengers, Phil Coulson became the president, and there was just a couple of random issues where he's like, yeah, the Squadron Supreme. I'm molding the Squadron Supreme of America. You'll remember that. And then a year later, we have, that's what this is. That's exactly what this Heroes Reborn is. It's the Squadron Supreme of America, in an alternate timeline. But the thing is that it's the Squadron Supreme of America, not altered. So Blade isn't the only one, and an alternate. Altered. You know,
He's not
he's
the
from
only
the
one out of time.
616,
Yeah.
but they haven't necessarily come out and said this. You just have to know this because of Avengers, and it kind of sucks that you have to know this for that to, you know, to have read this to make sense. But that it is proof to me that Jason Aaron really he knows how to tell a story. So all the questions that I've had in the past throughout Avengers, all the unanswered things like why the fuck is Mephisto Tony Stark's dad? I am 100% confident that that's going to get explained through Jason Aaron at some point within the next couple of years, and it's going to be fucking badass when it happens. He just plants these little seeds, you know. It's like,
That's
Phil Coulson's president, I'm gonna walk away. He's molding the Squadron Supreme during War of the Realms, no big deal. And now all of a sudden I am a Squadron Supreme fanboy. Like, I've got all of the action figure variants. I've got all the Bagley trading card variants for this. I can't wait till that comes together. These characters are dope. And in issue number 4, it's following Spectrum, who is like the Green Lantern, just way cooler and more OP. Yeah, I said it. And I'm gonna say that about all of the Squadron Supreme. I think all of the Squadron Supreme are cooler than all of the Justice League, with the exception of Nighthawk and Batman. Like, Nighthawk is not as cool as Batman, but other than that, that's what it is. Because I mean, it's obvious, you know. It's but damn, it is. This is a great.
That's really interesting. Like,
series.
You actually kind of sold me on it, just because like, I haven't read any of Jason. The only thing from Jason Aaron I've ever read is Sea of Stars. So I don't have that. Great. Yeah, I don't have that same experience though, you know. And over the last couple of weeks, I've seen so many tweets like, Jason Aaron's Avengers run is unreadable. Like, this stuff makes no sense. It's awful. Like, how did he get this job? All kinds of terrible tweets. And then you just kind of like made it all make more sense to me without having read any of it. So
no, they like, you know, they planted this baby star brand and one of the last couple arcs of Avengers, and no one's talking about the whole time. Like, you think for a second that little baby star brand isn't going to be something? You're out of your mind. And then Rocket Raccoon pops up into this issue and he's like, I'm star brand, bitches. I'm like, what about the baby? You know, and for a second I was like, holy shit, all the praise I was just getting ready to give Jason Aaron tonight just went out the window, because I thought he was building up the baby as star brand, and then now it's Rocket Raccoon. But the whole issue, the antagonist, Dr. Spectrum, he's like, I thought there was a fucking baby that had the star brand. How's this fucking rat have it? So I mean, they're acknowledging this, and then it all comes together at the end, and you're just like, this is beautiful. This is fucking storytelling, but it's just long form storytelling. Nothing with Jason Aaron is really contained. Just know that whatever Jason Aaron's on is going to lead into the next thing that Jason Aaron's on. So now that Jason, I'm kind of, I hate to say this, but I'm kind of glad Jason Aaron's off of Thor, because I didn't get to read his earliest versions of stuff. So there's things that, you know, I'm like, I wasn't enjoying the end of his run as much as I could have been, because I wasn't gathering the little seeds that he planted way in the future. But the second he got on Avengers, I'm like, I'm on board for all of this. Like, even the little arcs that don't interest me at all, I know that this is going to lead into something big. And god damn, is this Heroes Reborn something big. I know that this is going to carry forward. I know it is. Maybe not all these characters. This is, you know, some of these characters are probably going to stay in this universe, and it's going to make for a great alternate reality project for them, Marvel, to play with in the future, you know. But there's also definitely some characters that are going to swing into the 616. So this is not a blow off type of event at all.
Well, I mean, it's kind of their attempt to capture the same magic that Future State had. Because despite like some of the bad stuff that was in there and a lot of the hate it received before it actually launched, it turned out fairly successful. A lot of people fell in line with it, and there was some bad stuff in there. Brian Michael Bendis wrote a book in there that was unreadable, literally. Like,
which one did he write? I read very little of the Future State. I really only read like the Batman stuff. I mean, just a couple of things: Suicide Squad, Teen Titans.
Yeah, but, he wrote like some old team that hasn't been around in a while, and like the first page, literally like everybody shows up from this old team in the first or second page, and they're all talking at once. And you're just like, what is going on right now? And I couldn't even make it through the first issue. I heard the second issue was a lot better, but I couldn't even get through that first issue. It was so bad. But there was a lot of good things in there too, like Wonder Woman, Yara Flor. Loved it. Joelle Jones knocked it out of the park, and now we see that character in main continuity with Wonder Girl that dropped last week. And
did you read that?
I enjoyed it. Yeah,
I
thought it was a great issue.
I picked it up for the sake of speculation because I have faith in the character, but like Wonder Woman in herself is never really a title I ever picked up, so Wonder Girl probably wasn't going to do it for me. But I have faith in the character's legs for sure. Like I believe she. I think Future State. I think what Heroes Reborn is kind of the same move that Future State is making, where you're just going to take all of these ideas, throw a big pot of spaghetti at the wall. Some shit's going to stick, some's not. Some of us are like, oh, that was a thing and it'll never be a thing again. But people responded to this, so we're going to keep this around. And I think it's the same thing they're going to do with, Heroes Reborn. I don't think that the stuff that's going to come out of this is going to be immediate. They're going to sit back. They're going to gauge the audience reaction and go, you know what? Fucking Night Gwen sounds pretty badass. We're going to bring her in. Or, you know what? Let's make Squadron Supreme. Like, let's give them a fucking ongoing title. I don't know. I don't hate that. Give me a bunch of shit to read. Let me try on a bunch of shit. I don't know. I dig it, man.
Now's a great time for this sort of thing because so much stuff is getting developed. And I mean, obviously DC still has plenty of opportunity on the table, but you look at Marvel, like the MCU ran through damn near 60 years of comic books in like 10, 12 years. I mean, they're going to need new content sooner than later. So if
that's
there's
why I'm saying Scuttlebutt's coming, man.
If there's ever a time to be throwing everything at the wall and seeing what sticks, Marvel should be doing that now for sure because they're going to need to develop something.
You could put a plate of shit in front of Kevin Feige and he's gonna.
That's true too.
Yeah. He's gonna make it work, man. So it's all. I'm fine with the House of Ideas throwing out a bunch of fucking ideas. I mean, it's what they do.
Legion of Superheroes. That's what he wrote.
Oh yeah. Not my
Future State Legion of Superheroes. It was so bad.
Yeah, man. That's man. Bendis really lost me when he went to DC. I haven't enjoyed anything he's done when he went to DC. It sucks. I mean, granted, he went to my least favorite character, Superman, to start. So that didn't help. But I'm reading his Justice League right now. And I mean, I'll say this: the story's cool. Like he really changed the team drastically. Like he Bendis the fuck out of it. But now I feel like everybody that Bendis voices now is Iron Man. Like they're all just witty and snarky, and nobody really has a. I don't know. It's
yeah. I mean, Justice League has been my Bendis introduction. I don't think I've read any of his other works. And for me, like, I agree, like the team is very unique. There's a unique dynamic there. And it's been okay, but it's really Justice League Dark that keeps me even paying for the book, to be honest. Like, Ron V is killing it with that backup story.
I haven't been reading. All right. When did they start doing the backup stories in there? Because I didn't dawn on me until this. Okay, so just recently, it didn't dawn on me until this that last issue. I was like, did they fucking cancel Justice League Dark? Like, and son of a bitch. Because James Tynion was writing the shit out of that, right? Like he did a bunch of those, and then
I'm not sure, but
he at least started the series.
Yeah, well, I know Future State Justice League Dark was written by Ram V, and that's kind of like the end that this book is supposed to be working toward now.
Okay.
But yeah, Ram V's been on it since it came back in March for sure.
All right, I'm gonna check that
It's really cool because like he's reintroducing Merlin and like he's coming, but it's just like so methodically paced, and it moves like he uses this imagery like. There's this big stone wall, and you see Merlin, like, you haven't even met him yet, right? You just keep on seeing, like, these little cameo like single page vignettes of Merlin, but he'll show him like walk up to this giant like brick wall, and he just like does something and then like touches it, and the whole wall turns blue, and then he just walks through it like it's a portal, and then it like shows him walking down these stairs, and it's just like panel after panel, just like so methodically paced, and like the camera is always kind of low looking at him coming down the steps, and it gives you this sense of how powerful Merlin is and why the Justice League Dark team is like, man, we got to find him before he finds us, you know? And it's been really cool. Like, it's a slow build, but it's very like methodical in its pacing, and it's really like implanting the level of potential that's there, you know?
All right, man. Maybe I'll actually start reading those last few pages because, I mean, I didn't have anything against Justice League Dark, but when the series started out and it immediately crossed over into like Wonder Woman and the Witching Hour, I was you know what? I think I'm just gonna read this series every once in a while. And it turns out, I really never picked it up after that. Again, I kept it on the pull list. But I never really picked it up again. I didn't realize that Ram V had actually taken over. So yeah, you definitely have my attention because
I mean, my thing is like Wonder Woman as a character has never really interested me much. Daniel Warren Johnson did an amazing job with her, and then Yara Flor, like this new one, she's really got my interest. I agree with you. The Wonder Girl title like kind of throws me off because I don't feel like I should be buying a Wonder Girl title, but.
Yeah.
It was good. Joelle Jones killed it, and I'm usually not into Magic, but Justice League Dark usually works for me, and Ram V's especially writing something really cool with it. So it's cool
I've always enjoyed the Constantine Swamp Thing dynamic, so that was always my draw to Justice League Dark.
And Detective Chimp, he's so cool.
And Zatanna, I guess that team's badass. Just fucking, can we veto out fucking Wonder Woman already? Like, what is she even doing there?
She's not even there in Ram V's version, so I guess he feels the same as us. Yeah.
Right on. Yeah. All right. Because that's kind of how the series
like Detective Chimp, Ragman, Constantine, Swamp Thing, and Etrigan the Demon. Ooh. And right now, Jason Blood is there, but we know in the Future State version, the Demon comes out of Detective Chimp because Jason Blood is scared to be on this mission. And that's kind of what it's building towards. So, like, right now, Jason Blood is there and the Demon's in him. But they already, like, Merlin is apparently his half-brother, and now the Demon's scared to come out. And so they're kind of in a tight spot there. And then we know, like, somewhere down the road, he goes into Detective Chimp instead of Jason Blood. So I'm pretty excited to find out how that happens.
All right. I know you have my attention.
It's a cool scene when Detective Chimp is just like, and then the demon like comes up out of his back and everything. Like that's cool stuff. Man.
I'm sold. You got me. Milestone returns. Did you pick up any of the Milestone stuff? Are you gonna pick up any of the Milestone stuff at all?
I am really excited about the Milestone stuff. I will say I have DC Infinite, the app with all the comics and stuff.
Okay.
And so they dropped that issue on, I think, February, like right at the end of February. They dropped that digitally on the app. So I had read it then. And I heard that it looks better in print than it did digitally because it has like a very digital art style to it. Overall, I enjoyed it. It's kind of like Infinite Frontier Zero or DC Universe Rebirth, you know, where you're kind of getting a character that's just kind of like moving through all these timelines and touching on where each character is and kind of setting up the universe as it moves through it. And so that's pretty cool. I have like some issues with it, but overall I'm really excited. And I thought the Icon and Rocket story in there was just absolutely awesome. I'm really excited about those two characters.
Yeah, I didn't think I would be picking up Hardware or the Icon and Rocket series, but I'm on board for all three of them now because Static Shock is the obvious grab for sure. But yeah, no, I mean, Milestone has me all the way. Like this book did its job. It sold me. But it's good stuff, man. I don't really need to get into the ins and outs because, like you just said, it's it's just a reintroduction. It's like what these guys are doing, and yeah.
There was some cool updates to like the social commentary, though. I did think that was pretty sweet.
Yes, definitely.
Like the chemical gas attack and stuff. The way that played out. It's not just gang warfare. Like there's some other like social stuff going on there. So if you're into social commentary in your comics, like it's there, you'll find it. It's pretty obvious, but overall, I think it's cool that they were able to update the universe and set it up in a more modern way.
Yeah. Speaking of social commentary, you're a Bitterroot fan.
Yes.
Did you read Bitterroot yet this week?
I have not got to read 13.
All right, man. It's Bitterroot. It's just Bitterroot being Bitterroot. It's doing its thing. But one thing I may have forgotten to mention in the speculative section, we might have a new character introduced in this last page.
Really?
I don't know if this is a new character from another timeline because we know how that's kind of worked. He's like, but
Barzak.
and this dude looks badass. Whoever this dude is at the end, it's
They know how to
do
character cameos like that.
Yep. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. I love that this this series is getting attention from other people besides the people that have been on it since issue 1. This movie thing. I was lucky enough to have Chuck Brown on the podcast way long ago. I think we were still in the first arc of the Red Dawn special had just come out when I had Chuck Brown on. Red Dawn, Red Summer. Thank you.
And, Red Dawn's a great movie too. Wolverines.
And I mean, we talked about how this was, might be a movie, and now it's very much a movie. And man, people are all over this series now. People have their eyes on it, and I mean, this is very much a very unique social commentary for sure. It's twisted very well. I don't know. I think as a couple of fucking white dudes enjoying it through 13 issues, I don't think it's pandering in any type of way. It's saying what it has to say, and it's still a comic book at the same time. I mean, we're still fighting fucking mystical monsters and shit, know?
So, and I love how it's kind of morphed over time. Like the first 5 issues, the first series is about racism and hatred. And then you hit the Red Summer special where you see loss. And then the second 5 issues, it's about grief and separation, And we see like one of the dumbest characters that appears all the way at the beginning, Johnny Ray. Oh my God. Like Johnny Ray shows up. He's in the first issue and like, he don't know what's going on. Yeah. Like he's so lost and confused in the world. And then the Sangreers like take him in and kind of educate him. And at the end there, you see him lose his life, fighting for the Sangreers. And then in this new season, we've seen him like they went to his parents' house and they tried to like explain what happened. And I thought it was just really great the way that they showed like, there can be generational changes and like we can grow and change and evolve. And that doesn't always mean we're going to be in a good place with the people that were in our lives before that change happened. But it also doesn't mean that you can't change and make the world a better place, And so the way that all that stuff played out, and then at the same time you have Cullen out there in the woods, like fighting for his life against a tree. I was like, this is so good. The way they split it up, it was just so good. I really like it. But this season has felt a little bit slower than the previous 2. Like it's building into itself a little bit slower.
Yeah. The first issue was definitely hey, this is all the stuff that happened. Remember all of this, and then I think it's still trying. The next couple issues are still trying to find its legs, but I have a feeling the last couple issues of this arc are gonna, they're gonna drive out.
Yeah, these last 2 issues are probably gonna just like kill. Oh, they're gonna be so good
because that's what the series does. It's just good, man. I'm loving it, man.
And like the way you were talking about that character drop, like they do that so good. Like at the end of that first season, we got Cullen. He comes back through the portal, and you're like, "Who is this? What is going on?"
Yeah,
and then at the end of the second season, Blink shows up again, all like badass. I was like, "What is this? I'm ready for more of this now." So they do it well every time.
Oh man, and Blink has a pretty badass moment in this too. Blink, I think she's kind of being molded into our main character really. If they have to pick a main, like that's what Ma Etta says at least. Like she's the one that's going to lead the family. My old ass ain't going to be here forever. And
I really got that vibe in the second season, and it feels like this season they're kind of working that out with Nora. So
no, you're definitely going to really feel it in this next issue for sure.
Yeah.
Another one that I brought up in the speculative part of the show was Blue Flame, man. Blue Flame, I can't find the fucking camera for some reason. Blue Flame is like I said, I don't want to give too much away. Just know that it's a fun start. You don't really, feel anything too different about it. You read this before, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh shit, there's no fucking, they're not holding back on this at all. It's I don't know if it's going to be a team book or what it is. Just know that it's Jesus Christ, man, people die. People die. A lot of people die.
Is there any like superhero stuff in this first issue, or is it all like just kind of like set up?
There is. It's kind of fun because it starts out, I forget the dude's name, our main character. He's like, hey, I'm a superhero. I'm doing shit. And, you see him in a moment doing things, but he's also like an HVAC technician. So then he goes and, he fixes a
Damn it,
thing.
that already sounds interesting.
Yeah. It's fun. You're kind of thinking like, oh, this is kind of campy. And then the anvil falls, and it's good, man. I see now why the people were speculating about this in the little circles, because it has legs for sure, man.
That's interesting.
Did you read anything else this week?
Let's see. This week so far, it was my son's birthday today, so
right on.
Was a little more pressed on time than usual. Usually, I read a lot more during Tuesday and Wednesday.
Totally.
I think Action Comics is the only other book that I've got around to reading so far.
Tell me about Action, man, because I tried with Bendis. I think I gave him 7 issues, which was way more than I probably should have. I stayed on Superman for the duration, but that's more than any OCD, and I'm a completionist. Action, I still had a long way to go to complete Action. So how good's Action? Is it Philip Kennedy right now?
Yeah. I mean, my history with Superman is basically like Christopher Reeve's Superman. I really like the Donner cut of Superman 2 is great. And then there's like some sprinklings here and there, but I've never actually read a Superman comic. So that would be like the one thing I would say is maybe I just don't know Superman that well. So that could change your bearings. But for me and the people that I talked to about this book, like it's a little bit different because this whole thing started in March after Future State. Philip Kennedy Johnson was writing, or I guess technically he still is writing, Superman and Action Comics. And at first, the story was bouncing back and forth between the two. So you were getting like Superman would be part 1 and Action Comics would be part 2. And then maybe, the last issue, 1030 of Action Comics, that did its own story that still had both of those characters. But then Superman is telling a different story with both of those characters now. And then Tom Taylor's going to take over Superman, I think next month or the month after, and he'll be writing Jonathan Kent Superman stuff. So if you get past all of that delusion stuff, like you can literally start at Action Comics 1030 and just follow that line because in 1030, like it opens and it shows you Mongol. And like this guy comes up, he walks into like Mongol's courtroom, and they have him like in cuffs and stuff. And, they're kind of like, They tell Mongol, like he killed all of your children, and they grab this bag and shake it out, and all these heads roll out. And he's like, he took the heads of all of your children, and Mongol just like stands up and is like, good. Now there won't be anybody to take my kingdom from me. And then it like cuts to Superman, and Superman's he's like kind of like losing his powers, sort of type of thing, and they're not quite sure why. Meanwhile, you see Jonathan, he's like really trying to grapple with the fact that like he knows the future, and he knows that like the things that are happening right now is the last trace of history about his dad. So he's under the assumption his dad's going to die soon, that Clark's going to die, Is
that because he went to the future with Grandpa and what he saw?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember that whole arc. So all right, I gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, and like all the stuff that Philip Kennedy Johnson did before this just showed you a lot of the dynamic between Clark and Jonathan and set up that father-son dynamic. And it's extremely well done. Like there's whole scenes that just like will make you tear up like as a parent, Like there's a part where they go into space, right? they have to go to this other planet because they pick up like a distress call, on this other planet that Clark had been to way back in like the Golden Age or something. So they're kind of rehashing a Golden Age story, but from a new perspective sort of thing. So anyway, they have to go to this other planet. So they have to fly through space, right? And it just drops into this narration of Clark. Like, I just kind of hang back and I just watch you because, we're in space. We can't talk to each other right now, So he's just like, I just kind of like hang back. And then they do this amazing panel work that just kind of gives you the perspective of a father watching their child, like in one of those proud moments where there's really nothing to say. You're just admiring your kid, And then they go to this planet and there's all this stuff happening. And Clark definitely comes off as like trying to make sure he's doing the right thing, that he's showing Jonathan the way to be, And so it's just like really good father-son dynamic stuff. A lot of the action in the stuff that Philip Kennedy Johnson's writing right now, a lot of the action's actually in the background. Like they're talking out, like hashing out father-son stuff and just single-handedly like handling the problems,
All right.
And so all of that's really good. And then the reason I say start at Action 1030 is because basically there you kind of get like Clark, it seems to like his powers are kind of waning. And then Jonathan is kind of struggling with taking over the mantle and knowing that his father's going to pass away. And Damian gives him this awesome speech where he's just like, it's not up to you, dude. Like the whole reason you're here is to become Superman. It's going to happen, And then these warships like start coming out of space into Earth's atmosphere, And Clark is there and he's like not really sure what's going on, but it's like from War World. So he's concerned and he kind of like calls out to a couple of people and Jonathan just right next to him out of nowhere, And Clark like takes like Mr. Leader role, he's like, okay, do this. I need you to do this over here. You got this, And so like they're going in and Clark like rips open one of the ships and there's like these Kryptonians like speaking an ancient Kryptonian language, like almost dead language kind of thing, And so he's like, what's going on here? And then they realize like this ship is on the run. All these other ships are chasing it. So these are like refugees trying to escape from War World or something. And so then 1031 kind of deals with all the fallout of that. Like they basically handle things. Mongol and his warships go ahead and leave. And they're obviously not happy because they didn't get what they want. And then 1031 kind of deals with all the fallout of that. Like, who are these people? Why are they here? Why were they running from? Why were they trying to escape? All that kind of stuff. So,
all right.
It's been really cool. The artwork on Action is just like, so good.
Awesome, man. I don't think the artwork has really struggled often with that since I've been picking it up. It was just, I don't know. I wasn't into Bendis' storylines. That's all. But with Philip Kennedy Johnson, the dude has my attention lately. So yeah,
he's everywhere.
Yeah, no, I'm into it, man. I'm so into it. You got me hooked. I'll go back. I'll do a little back issue reading. I'll see for myself, but I might have to re-add Action to the pull list.
Yeah, like I said, if you just want to get into it, Action 1030 is probably a great starting point. If you want all the background information, then you can go all the way back to, I think it's like Superman 29 and Action 1028 or something like that is where it all started in March.
Okay, right on. Well, I definitely have the Superman 29. I think I might have even read it, to be honest. That might be why I'm lost on Superman, if it's going back and forth between that and Action. So
yeah,
okay, yeah, that makes sense. All right.
It's been good though. I've enjoyed it.
Awesome. I mean, that's all I read. I guess I read Batman, Superman 2, but I don't think I couldn't explain this if I tried. They're in a movie. They're not. I don't know. But it's cool. It's cool. You get a little Batman Robin action. And
yeah, I started at I think it was number 16 when it came back in March. And that one, it had like these dual film reels, and it was a Batman and a Superman story. It was really cool, like the way that they blended all that together. And then in the next issue, that's the one where you had Robin running around like say a holy whatever Batman.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And Batman
it's a lot more of that in this one too. So
I thought I liked it because like they go to fight Lex Luthor, and then like Auteur.io like grabs the ring off his finger and stuff. I like the way that they were able to figure out how to do like these whimsical like kind of like what if world sort of things.
Mm.
Like we just want to do like 1941 Superman and Batman. So how do we do that? We'll do it as like film strips, and then you have this like meta plot with this meta villain that really has the ability to reach in between dimensions and stuff. He can pull whatever he needs from like whatever film strip and stuff. So I really enjoy that. I think it's cool. I don't know how long this villain will necessarily stay around in the sense of like how long can they keep doing the film strip thing.
I don't feel like he's fit for cinema. I think that's what it comes down to. I think he'd be too hard to play cinematically. And that's where the longevity of a character is going to come in. As far as, for the sake of financial gain, is when will we see him on the big screen? And I just don't see it happening with this guy. It's just too complicated. He's cool, but not made for the big screen. As ironic as it is, this would
definitely be like an animated series, kind of like 2-part episode thing or something, But I couldn't see the investment for the type of storytelling it takes to utilize him,
Yeah, no, I couldn't even think of a director that would, really even do it right.
It would just be too much to cast like all the stuff that you would need to film for like the 1940s Batman and Superman stuff, and then to like cross over into this like interdimensional realm of film reels and stuff. Like it would just cost so much money to make something like that. It wouldn't work as a movie, I don't think.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. Man, Ryan, dude, it's been a new comic book day. It's been our first stream. I think we could do this again. I think we got this, dude.
90 minutes wasn't bad.
Not bad at all, and not a moment to take a breath. This is we read some great books this week, dude. I'm excited for next week for sure. But shit, what the fuck am I gonna do for 7 days since I read everything today? Now I'm not used to being in this position. I got a back issue read is what I gotta do. I gotta catch up on some stuff. But man, this has been fun. For the Cheers to Comics listeners out there that for whatever reason may not know what you're about, you want to tell people where to find your other show, The Cosmic Campfire?
Yeah, I do The Cosmic Campfire. I do a lot of this kind of stuff. I talk about comics, argue about comics, or all kinds of things like that. A lot of what's coming out, like what to be paying attention to, as well as what I thought of the things that I told you to pay attention to. So I'm usually pretty quick to call myself out if a book turns out bad that I told you I thought would be good. So I do a lot of that kind of stuff. I've been listening to Brian for a couple of years now. So that's part of why we're doing this together now, I guess, is because,
with our powers combined, man.
Right. So, my channel on YouTube is Cosmic Campfire. I also do audio versions of a lot of things over on a podcast as well. Some of it's recycled material, but not all of it. So there's definitely cool stuff to look up there. You can find that on Podchaser. You can find me on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter under New Guy. So you can find me in all those places.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Well, I think we could do this again next week, man. I think we can make a regular thing out of this. I enjoyed the first live stream. For anybody that's tuning in to this for the first time and doesn't know what Cheers to Comics is, you can find Cheers to Comics anywhere you listen to a podcast. It's all different material. I do speculative pull list priorities episodes on Friday. I talk about the books coming out in the future and even further in the future that could potentially put some money in your pocket. And I also interview some amazing creators as well every Monday, and lately even more than that, because it's hard to say no to some people, and there's, I don't know, limiting myself to just for the sake of scheduling consistency. No, I'm not gonna deny these amazing creators that platform anymore. So there's every once in a while just a random bonus episode sprinkled in as well. So Apple, Spotify, Podchaser, anywhere. Like Ken M says down here, the apocalypse, hashtag the apocalypse. That's it's one of the, it's another thing that we have in common. Ryan was brought into the apocalypse. The apocalypse is a group that Ken and I just kind of created on Twitter. It's a community of amazing independent podcasts that you find on Podchaser. It's a whole list of them. You can follow the hashtag The Apocalypse on Twitter, and it's not just comic book stuff. It's not just pop culture stuff. It's everything. Think of a type of podcast. There's that kind in The Apocalypse. So it's just an amazing community, and there's also other great comic book shows in there as well. I'm not ashamed to say it. I mean, we got Cosmic Campfire right here. It's been fun. Shit, I think we could call this an evening, Ryan. Thank you so much, man. You take care, brother.
Yeah, you too, man. It was a blast.
Right
I'm
on,
excited
man.
for this.
So cheers.
Cheers.